Hey, Chris Mack here. I'm in my shop, but it is a yucky rainy day, so it is the perfect time to just stop and talk about your business and what you're going to do to get it started and get it set up for success. 2021 is just around the corner, so it is the perfect time to get planning. We've got a couple months. Let's do this. So I've got 9 things for you to go over, a little checklist, things you're gonna do. What are your products and services? Have you really thought about your products, what you're offering, and or services that you're offering? Have you thought about your target market? Who is going to be purchasing those items from you? Do you have competitors? Do you have something out there, another business that in the last 12 months, and then also look at the last 24 months and view those comparables? Have they been selling this product successfully? Have they been selling this service successfully? There's no harm in looking at other businesses as examples. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You do not need to set yourself up for failure. Other businesses are there. And chances are they would happily share with you their top 10 mistakes, or if they had to do it all over again, things that they would do differently. So do whatever you can do to get as much data as possible before you invest any of your time and absolutely any of your money. So research your target market and how is your product or how is your service going to serve that target market. Okay, so you're feeling good. Maybe you've even dabbled in your business already. Maybe you even have proven data that your product or service is successful. But now you want to legitimize it. You really want to get your name together and just up that level of professionalism. So how are you going to brand your product? Are you branding it through yourself? Are you your product? Is it your name? Have you thought of something kind of creative and you have a fun name, something that relates to your product? Have you considered if whether or not the name of your product or service is searchable? Is it something that people can quickly identify and be able to type in Google search and find you? Most of the time, they still tend to Google you to get your phone number. So make sure you're easy to find in Google search results. So that would mean like the spelling of the name. Sometimes too creative can hurt you. But there are so many different opinions on this. I just ask you for your second step when it comes to branding and your name to really consider what that name is and why. Okay, so you've come up with your brand, you have your name, you basically know where your business is going to go, but now you want to own it. So you want to grab the URL, maybe 2, and you also want to grab the handles for social media. So you want to make sure those are available. This is an extension really when it comes to your step 2, your branding. You want to make sure it's available, and you don't want to play too much to try to force it to fit. Something very simple or something basic. For me, for example, I'm in Canada. So I could say something like product name, Canada, in order to grab the .com and the .ca. Something like that doesn't really hurt me, but I'm not that type of person. I want the name. Like, I don't want underscore something. I don't want a digit at the end of it. I want the name. So I will go back to the drawing board and I will plan again to get that name, and I always want the .com domain, always. That's another topic we can get into, but there's a reason for that too. And it has to do with searchability. It has to do with Google favoritism. So I usually get both. I get the .com and the .ca, but that's another thing. Make sure they're available. For the social media handles, grab them all. Go make sure you can get them all, even if you're not going to use them, which I don't think you're going to, and I probably would recommend that you don't. I would say to choose 1 or 2 that you really are going to focus on. And the other ones, you're simply owning them. A quick logo. Throw something together, slap it on, maybe a really good photo of yourself. Especially if you are the brand. You might want just a really good photo of yourself. If you can't get that, if you're nervous about that, if you're not feeling really confident right now, maybe you want to get some professional hair, makeup, whatever, before you take a photo of yourself. Then whip together a logo. And there's some very easy tools you can use. A lot of them are free too. So I personally love PicMonkey. And I pay for PicMonkey monthly. Okay. Canva. has free options. It's never really been my favorite, although there are things I can't do in PicMonkey, so I still like having Canva. Logo Pit. Logo Pit was one that I started out with because it's free and you're not limited. They don't cut you off when it comes to basic logo design, when it comes to layering, how much you're able to download. The only catch with Logo Pit, you can only use it on as an application, so it has to be on your tablet or your phone. You can't design on your desktop. Where Canva and PicMonkey, you can bring right to your desktop, which I really love having. Whip up a logo, put it on there just to give you some type of presence that fits your brand. I usually recommend when it comes to a logo, I've said this so many times in the past, don't get too fancy, keep it simple. Just a color that you know is going to be solid within your brand, and a very simple font. You can always, when money starts to come in, hire a designer. You can source it to somebody like through Fiverr. Have someone do it a little bit better, especially if it's not your forte. If you love design and you have a very clear idea of what you want for your logo, then heck, use PicMonkey or Canva. You're going to get probably exactly what you want, and you might keep it for years. So yeah, I would say start dabbling with those, but the intention here, me taking this time with you, is to keep it simple, not trying to overcomplicate it. And we're trying to be very mindful of your budget, because if you're watching this, you're just getting started. Money is not rolling in through your small business. So we want to covet our cash flow, and we want to be very frugal and be very careful and make sure the money we're spending is money that's going to be a positive investment for our business. So it's what I always tell my mentees to ask themselves. Is what I'm spending money on helping me make money? So now the branding, the images, the name, all that stuff is done. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm like, I'm enjoying a green tea matcha latte right now while I'm doing this. And I'm like, such a tasty matcha green tea latte with coconut milk. Okay, so you have your branding, you have all that stuff done. You have your name, you kind of know what what's going to look like. You know the vibe, you have all of that. You're feeling confident? It's worth spending some money on now? Go and register your business. Register your business, which also means registering your business name, because they're going to ask you, what is your business? Once you do this, you're in business. Okay, I was really excited about that. Once you do this, you are now officially in business. You can open a bank account. You can sign up for professional services. There's lots you can do that you cannot do had you not registered your business. So now go and do that. And it's usually about $60. I think when I first registered my business, it was $40. And the most recent business that I registered was $60. Okay, now banking. Opening a bank account. Do not skip this. Yes, you can use your personal bank account, your regular checking or savings account. You think, you're already paying monthly, you get so many transactions, why not just use my personal bank account? Do not use your personal bank account. You can open another personal bank account. It doesn't have to be a business account, but you don't want to be mixing your expenses. And when revenue starts coming in, just trust me on this. Keep it simple. And also, just for your own mental sanity, it's going to go by very quickly. Your first year is going to fly by. And all of a sudden, your bookkeeper or the CRA, the IRS, is going to be asking you, what about this expense? And what about that expense? Just think about the incoming money and the outgoing money. Where is that going? Anyway, that's a whole other topic, but really just think about it. Open up a separate account. If you just are going to be using a bank account, you're not going to, I really hate saying this, but you're not going to use like a credit card or something for the expenses, daily expenses, then just make sure that the in and the out is in a very clean one account that you can just take. If you're getting audited, here's the in, here's the out. If your bookkeeper has a question, they're not sure what the expense is or not sure what it's all in one spot. It's not mixed up with your personal day at the spa or plates you had to buy for your house or your kids needed something. It's not going to be mixed up. You know how we talk about like shoebox, all my bookkeeping, or even if you just keep everything, all your receipts in a shoebox, I say, you can do this, especially when you're just getting started. You want to keep it very, very simple. There's no need to go spend $500 on a filing cabinet with a lock. But make sure it's a boot box. Okay, so we're going to talk about boot box business budgeting. So a boot box is going to get you a little bit more space, and you're going to be able to fit in folders. You want a folder for each month of the year. Get a folder. Every receipt that comes in that month of that year goes into that folder. Next month. So you will have 12 folders for every just regular receipt, be it coffee, be it gas, be it ribbon. You signed up for Canva. Print off that receipt, but get that receipt into that folder. Get yourself in this habit. You're going to thank me. Tax time. The other thing you're going to want to do is have a few folders for specialized accounts. Definitely one for the government. So in Canada, we have the CRA. I have a folder just dedicated to the CRA. I don't want it mixed up in my months. Yes, I will, like for source deductions when you have employees, I'll print off that payment receipt. Sometimes I'll print off two and I'll mark one copy. And then I'll still have the original in my CRA folder. Again, peace of mind, you'll thank me. Okay, so I already touched on this. So it's gonna be a little bit of a review, but it's still a separate step. What system are you using to process payments? How are you getting money from your customers? So if you are, for example, on Etsy, they have the processing. Don't forget, I'm in my store, so I keep seeing people like walk by and I'm just being like, it's Monday, we're closed, don't come in here, I'm filming. How are they processing payments? So if you're on like a third-party site like that, then they're taking care of that for you. So again, the only thing you're going to be responsible for is setting up that bank account that it's going into. But what if you're on your own site? What if you have a website? What are you syncing it up to? Are you syncing it up to Square? Are you using PayPal? Are you relying on e-transfers? Are you going to invoice a customer and get an e-transfer? You can, and it depends. You might be like, maybe your small business, you just have one big transaction every month and therefore e-transfers work for you. And you have a personal bank account because you didn't open a business one yet, so your e-transfers are for free. That might work for you, that's great. But then I say, aha, 1 second, how are you invoicing your customers? So you might want some invoicing software. So that's when I would research the cost, the monthly expense, how it works for me. Some companies like Square charge you per transaction. So when you're first starting out, that's very good for your cash flow. If you start having 1,000 transactions a month, if you start having 10,000 transactions a month, that's going to really add up. And another processing company or software might have more of a flat fee. When you get to that level, that's going to really work well for you. But when you're just starting out and you have 5 sales that month, 2.9% and a 10 cents, fee, flat rate, that's going to be a lot better. So dig into that, do your research, look up processing websites, what hookups they have. Wix has their own merchant center now, and then Shopify came out with their own as well. So do some research, see if it's going to work for you. Okay, so last, you want to get your products out there to your customers. How are they seeing your product? How are they understanding what it is that you're offering? How do they know how you're different than your competitor? How do they know? So you want to start engaging with your customers right off the bat. You want to engage on those social media handles that you captured a few steps back. You want to really engage and let them know what you're doing, why you're doing it. If you're nervous because you're not really sure exactly when your opening date is going to be, that's okay. Just don't make any promises. But let people in on what you're doing. Show them what your skill set is. You're in business. You're offering a service that they need. So don't feel vain or don't feel stupid. It's natural to feel that way. Right now, I feel that way. But you know what? You're doing a service for somebody else. And always remember that. They need your product. They need your service. They need your advice. You're gonna help them do something that they need to do in their life. So keep that in the back of your mind, or heck, in the front of your mind would be even better. And remember to share. Think of it as sharing, not as showing off. because you're not showing off. So do whatever you can do with the apps that you have. A lot of the apps have like 7-day free trial. Some have 2 weeks. Some have a month. So if you can organize yourself and say, these are the things that I need. I just need a headshot, or here's my 5 products that I've made. I'm going to get really good, product photos done. These are all things that I'm going to do, but I don't have the money yet to do it. Do it yourself. Use your phone, use your own camera, borrow somebody, have a friend who has a better phone than you, take the photos. Then use your Canva and your PicMonkey. You get like really high resolution JPEG. If smartphones now are crazy and the resolution's amazing on smartphones. So use what you have, use the apps, fake it till you make it. Well, there we go. So those are 9 steps to get you started for your small business the right way, so you won't be crying a year later and pulling your hair out. Ciao for now.